Alrighty, let's go ahead and get everybody in the Discord into the live stream. Let's go ahead. And where is that live stream? There it is. Okay. What's happening? Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, Dave? The pullback is happening. Bombs are still firing. This is going to be the whole Ukraine, Russia, off again, on again war situation. But what I will say is that everything that we think will happen when the war does end is going to happen, and everything is going to explode to the upside. And I'm more excited about that and not caring exactly how long it's going to take. So I want to go over questions or anything right now. I haven't done a whole lot because I'm still waiting on weekly diamonds to wait for Friday. Looks like Soundhound will most likely be getting one by Friday. Sitting right here on the 200 weekly SMA, which is awesome. Good support signal. Gonna let more people come in, so I'm just gonna kind of go through. But another one I think that's going to get a signal here shortly. This week or next week, but BBAI looks very similar to how kind of Soundhound looks. Same similar chart, I think, too. Big loop and drawdown. Big loop, drawdown. So very similar, Soundhound and BBAI. Those two are what I'm looking for. PGY most likely will get a weekly diamond as well here. So that's what we're going to look for too. We know SoFi for all of us will most likely have a weekly diamond as well. Oscar is going to have the weekly diamond. So if we take a look also at the gap that it created here, I'll turn off the support resistance. Okay, it gapped out of this trend line, right? We have this downtrend line. It gapped up. I'm assuming it's going to come retest the breakout and fill this gap to 1330 before we go to the next leg higher. So if you want Oscar for the weekly candle and add to your portfolio, I'd be looking at like a 1330 range to be looking to buy it. It could slide down this a little bit more too, but as far as just buying it based off weekly, you have a gap fill for 1330. Be a good place to start buying based off the weekly diamond. It should stay there based on the amount of like volatility it just had and the jump it just had. Yeah, it's going to stay. Crossed way over. So Oscar should be good for the week as well. Navitas doing its thing. Only magnificent company is Palantir is red. Our oil play, I don't understand why the option didn't move. Miguel's moved, but mine did not move, so I don't know what's going on there. We bought the same option, but I'm still down, and his is up significantly. So I don't know what's going on there. Well, he sold some when it was up, but when I look at the like history of it, yeah, 96. I don't see any spike. He shows like a spike to like $1.86 or something. I don't see anything like that. What kind of questions you guys got? Covered call questions, CSP questions, scenario questions. Again, you guys know I'm staying patient during this with my final 10% cash that I have remaining in my account. As you can see, I'm still set up to buy a lot of things come April 17th. SoFi, if it's below 17, we'll see. SoFi, if it's below 18. IREN, if it's below 40. IREN below 41. HIMS below 22. HIMS below 30. Cypher below 14. I'm set up to buy all these shares, so there's not a whole lot for me to do until I know if I bought any of these. And then if I don't buy any of these and I have all this cash, you're going to see me do a whole lot of May 15th CSPs and get ready to buy some weekly diamonds. Looks like we're turning that corner. So it's just going to be a little bit back and forth, choppy, green days, red days, based on what news and ceasefire news is happening. But overall, I think that the turnaround has started. Obviously, unless it's completely like screw this treaty, bombs away. But I don't. I think Trump thinks that's going to be more painful for him than he leads on. So I don't think that'll be the case. Um, then we have our income ETF portfolio guys as well that we have working on. So this will be good for look at. Oh, that's not income ETF. That's income ETF. Still up our 1.66% just on the share price, but these are the income ETFs that we will be stacking. So if you have questions about that, let me know. Right now it's just Dave and Subin here, and James. Oh, Elwa's in here. Do anything, Elwa? Your premiums, options? You guys make any plays? Staying patient? I have IYRI, IWMI, IAUI, Bitcoin I, GPIQ, SPY I, QQQI. Good job on the Navitas. Good work. It's such a fun company to run the wheel with. QQQI, NEHI, which this is Ethereum income, MLPI, this is energy income, and JetQ. We can take a look at Navitas. Again, war ends, things can just run, so be careful. I'm still being super patient because I think the upsides are pretty substantial, right? Keep an eye on the weeklies for now so you can kind of stay safe. Yeah, looking at the 12s. Yeah, exactly. So like May 15th, I don't know what the premiums go out to. And Sue, if you have questions on like why those or anything, you can ask. Posted a video of these like I think CEO or somebody who started basically those like income ETFs for that hedge fund and their general basis around it and why it's good and why there's zero to little no NAV erosion too. So that was good to watch. Yeah, you could do 12. 27 Delta, May 15th. Seems like a winning trade to me. Why not? Up 37% in the premium today. Applied volatility 103. The spread is tight, only a 3-cent spread. I mean, I would be doing this all day. Yeah. Yep. Nice easy one. You can still get $3 or $2.70 more to the upside of space, and you can still roll if need be later closer to May. But yeah, I think that's great. What other ones you guys got? I saw you were typing. Nibius. Yeah, I think it hit the top of the weekly, right, today? Yep, hit the top of the weekly. I do see both of these are starting to curl up. So there is some more upside. Yep. 128.30. Look in the top of the band was a 128.34. And then it rejected. Same thing, popped over it and then just quickly came down. Right? I'm looking at, let's go to this and see. Got to be willing to sell it, of course, for whatever you set the strike for. So let's take a look. Again, you got to keep in mind too, Ella, for your stuff is like, look also when the earnings are. For me, for SoFi, earnings are end of April, so I can't really do covered calls on SoFi right now. I got to wait till after earnings comes up. Same thing with Oscar, end of April, so I need to wait till earnings are played, right? So keep an eye on your earnings time frame as well. What's up, dog? What's up? Um, and I wish Robinhood put the earnings in here so we knew the information. Even on here, right? Like earnings is in between this date or something. Um, so you could do like a 150 or the 155 if you want to be safe for May for covered calls on Nibius. Like I said, 20 and up is safer as far as Delta goes. Our closer to 30 is going to be your default range, and then 40 or higher is going to be the risky. And not by risky, it's just like most likely to be to get your shares called away. You know, could and could not, and then most likely won't. So it just depends on what your game plan is. And then, of course, as long as you're okay selling it for this price, then you can do it. But it is a free right now, like $2 a share to do a 15 delta. You can make $3 a share at the 155. Obviously, the strike will always be better to get. The premium won't make up, right? So like 155 to 165, that's a $10 difference in price I'm selling it for, but the premium is only a $1.36 difference, right? So this is definitely better if the stock gets there. But if the stock doesn't get there, you left some money on the table because the stock never got to this price, right? This money right here is the guaranteed money that you will collect. This is all hopes and dreams of what you could potentially make. So keep that in mind. Um, but know that obviously a lot of things are pulled back. It's tough right now to do lots of covered calls and feel confident in it because things have pulled back so much that a rally does begin. These stocks, as we saw from last April, can rally easily 200%. On Miguel message. Weird. Alrighty. What other questions you guys got? Resolve launched hostile bid. Shareholders after talks to the board broke down. One of its shares for every two commerce.com. Earlier 1-for-1 offer rejected. Let's go take a look. I know we took a look at it a little bit ago. RZLV. Last week, still bullish there. Still bullish on the daily. I don't think it's a company you can really do too many options on. Is that a question or statement? When I looked at the, remember, it's got to be still good for option premiums. I don't think it is. Usually companies this cheap are not good. But we'll take a look. Okay. Let's see, May 15th. Sell put. Look at the price is going down and the premiums are going down. Yeah, volume is 6. Just not a lot of option volume. 2. So I'd probably stay away from doing options. If this is something you want, it'd be something you just buy and hold. Not something you can really run the wheel on. As far as the SPY goes, no, I think the SPY goes down again. I think it's going to most likely, well, again, everything depends on that war, but as of right now, trending down. MACD is still like trending down overall. We haven't crossed the 0 line to get down here, kind of like we did last April, right? Obviously, we didn't go as high. Down, volume still trending down. These are the weeklies, right? Daily time frame, right? We're getting this little bounce up. That's why I'm saying don't go chasing right now. Like, don't go. Wait. If we get weeklies on Friday, we'll probably end up getting a good opportunity the next week, right? Friday, we get the diamonds. Over the weekend, you game plan on what weekly diamonds you like, what companies you like, okay? And then the following week, you look to make an entry, okay? It's not like you see a glimpse of a diamond and you hop in it on the weekly ones, right? Same thing, daily populates. The following day, you look to get into it, okay? That's the nice part about the strategy, guys, is you really don't have to look at the market every day. You just go look at the companies you like at the end of the day when you're scrolling and just, you know, on your couch watching the game or anything. Like you just scroll, okay, Iran got a diamond. Now I can look into that one. Like you don't need to watch it every day. You just take a look at the end of the night, see if it got a diamond. If it didn't get a diamond, there's nothing to do. You got nothing to do with it. You just wait till you get a diamond and then there's something to do. But it's a very passive way to trade. You just kind of sit here waiting. So we're just doing that. We're sitting here waiting to confirm that diamonds are going to remain in play Friday. And that way we can take a look to making an entry the following week. Fridays have been bloodbaths. Weekends leave uncertainty with Trump, right? So I don't want to jump the gun on these big green days to get in. I rather wait for confirmation of the weekly because, again, if we look at any of the weekly diamonds from even last April, right? Let's go to SoFi because it's easy, right? We didn't get the bottom, but we confirmed. Okay, there's this big spike up. I'm sure it hit like this 1456. And then the following week, it was somewhere in these like 1213s, right? We're getting in somewhere the following week after the diamond, after it confirms. So we get in somewhere in here, somewhere in 13 or 12s, and then there's plenty of room to run. I'm not nervous about just buying it the following week after this happens. It's a weekly diamond. It takes a while for things to play out, right? Here's a big run up, chop, chop, chop. Okay, and then eventually it starts. Okay. Doesn't mean it's going to be an instant move right away, but it is a good place to at least start a position or dollar cost average because momentum is starting to pick up, right? So, yeah, just stay patient. That's all we're going to wait for is these diamonds. Things can go up. I don't need to get this bottom, right? This bottom could not be the bottom. I want to wait for confirmation that the bottom really is in and the momentum has picked back up. So that's what we're waiting on. Yep, Iran's still coming down. Yeah, we got that covered call on Iran. We're both, I'm bullish on it, but I want to protect my downside. Was I going to be upset if it ran to like 50 today? Yeah, probably. But it's a winning trade. Why make a winning trade a losing trade all of a sudden just because I have a little FOMO happening, right? What's going on, guys? Thank you for checking in. Nicole, Hanif, Elwa, Dave, Sub, Dog, Baning Capital. You guys can drop your questions in the chat if you guys want to go over anything or have questions or strategy questions or anything like that. How to do the indicators, whatever it may be. Right now, like I said, on most companies, guys, I'm sticking to the weekly time frames. I want the bigger picture to be bullish. I'm not looking for the little stuff right now. I just want to wait for these bigger moves to be giving me the dollar cost average signal. Is this the first live stream, Nicole, you made it into? What's up, Harry? Morning. Yeah, weekly diamonds. Definitely going to be loading the wagon. Like I said, I'm glad that our group is we're teaching to not FOMO. Don't cave into the FOMO because it's not worth it. Doug, I know I made a video for you. For some of you that were nervous, what today could have been, meaning like the amount of upside and the feeling that you missed out. Okay. Um, Dog said he had a bunch of CSPs, and I have a bunch of CSPs, right? Like I want these shares assigned to me. Um, but he was nervous that he wasn't going to get the shares, and then he wouldn't have owned any shares for the run up. Okay. Um, what I was telling him is that prices right now are so low on these companies as far as long-term outlook on the market and these companies that if you do a CSP and you do a CSP on SoFi, you collect $500 in premium, you immediately put that $500 to work and you buy $500 worth of SoFi. That way you own $500 worth of shares, and then you have a CSP where you could own more shares. But if you don't end up getting these CSP shares and the stock decides to run, you have that $500 worth of shares to catch that upside potential. Okay. So you can immediately, the second you get your premium, the second you place your CSP, put that premium to work. Buy the company that you say you currently want to buy. Right. So that's a way you can implement making sure you don't miss out. You're not going to get all the upside, right? But you also are protecting yourself to the downside. Yeah, Doug, I'm still holding CSPs. None of them got to 80% or higher for me, so I wasn't interested in letting them go. I think I still want to own these companies. Whether or not there's a little bit more downside, I want to make sure I just get all the premium and I get all the shares, because we've seen what the market will do when it is over. It'll be how this morning was, but it'll be today, it'll be tomorrow, it'll be Wednesday, it'll be consistently 3 days, 4 days in a row of just 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. It'll just keep going. So I'm not going to worry about the little bit of downside that a lot of these companies still have left. But when the upside is, a 5-to-1 ratio, I'm okay risking the 1% downside for that 5% upside. Yep. Yeah, it just seems Israel's not cooperating with the ceasefire. Correct. Yep. So on the indicator, your support and resistance levels. Okay. Blue is support and your yellow is resistance. Support, resistance. Your next support down here. So, yep. I think you can change the colors. I don't know if it'll change the label colors if you wanted to change it to red and stuff, but I just knew our colors didn't really have a blue, and then yellow usually isn't at a resistance level. So, but you can change them if you wanted to. Just go down here and change it to whatever support you want it to be green. It can be green. So, oops. What other questions you guys got? What's up, Cynthia? You're back in the market. I like it. Man, you've been gone for too long. Forbes. Whoa. Forbes saying SoFi has been named Forbes as #1 in the U.S. on the world's best bank list. What? Telling you guys, it's where I'm putting my money. It's where I'm putting my money. And it's barely up. Barely up today. You can push us down all you want. But you ain't going to be able to keep us down forever. Not by a long shot. Again, 200 weekly, guys. Weighted moving average. If you can buy on this line or lower for companies you believe in long term, you guys will be very successful. Okay? Long term. Okay? It's already set there. You just got to turn it on. Okay? This is the one I like to use. If you're like, and if you ever think like, hey, how low could a company go? Also look at that line because the company can go that low. People, when it was up here, right, at 32, 29, 28, and they see this at 12, and everyone's like, it won't go back down there. Okay, you're right. It didn't go back to 12s, but it sure came back down to 15. Right? As time goes on, your average is going to move up, but at some point, they will meet. Okay? Same thing goes with Microsoft. Okay? Doesn't happen often, but when it does, buying opportunities present themselves. Okay? Same thing. Below the red, between these two, clearly is a great time to be buying Microsoft. Okay? What other questions you guys got? Tips, tricks, stocks, certain tickers? Put them down. This will be the only time where I will say take advantage of me. All right. Alrighty, let's see. PGY. What's the question about PGY? I'm waiting on the weekly diamond. We have everything trending the right way. I assume that it will end the week with a diamond. Yeah, you can start loading, I would say, for PGY. You can see the MACD is almost going to cross. This is crossing. The volume is increasing. The stochastic has reset. The weekly flow has flipped to green. So everything is telling me that pretty much the bottom is in or the momentum is picking up, and finding good entries on maybe red days and buying some is a good idea. So, yeah, as soon as this actually crosses, as you can see, if you zoom in, when you're zoomed out and not clicked into it, it looks like it crossed. And then when you actually zoom in, they're close, but it hasn't crossed yet. Okay. So, like, see how that looks? It looks like it's zoomed in, but make sure you like click into things. That's why there's no diamond yet. But PGY will be one to dollar cost and buy into. Cynthia. Come on, I feel like you're going to tell me some crypto ticker right now. Don't do it. I only own one now actually, but it's an income ETF. It pays me monthly premiums. I know, BidF changed to Keel. I was thrown off. I was like on our little alert watch list here. Um and I was like, why is BitF not showing any price action? And then yeah, ONDS went red. Drones are going red. Again, I'm sticking to the weeklies, guys. Sticking to the weeklies right now. The 200 weighted weekly, right, that we said SoFi wouldn't go down to. Not that we said that, but people were saying, okay, the 200 weekly for ONDS, guys, is down to 366. Not saying it's going to go there, but just like when you have a game plan of like worst case scenario, ONDS bottom Bollinger Band is 560 and then 366. So just know when you're taking positions what your downside is and where your upside is. Okay. Cynthia, if you don't know that answer by now, no, it would be SoFi, 100%. If I had to pick a single company also to throw 100% of my money into, it would be SoFi. I won't say it. Yeah. No, it's definitely SoFi if I could only pick one. Just because of the safety of it and the upside potential, right? HIMS has lots of upside, but it has the healthcare side of manipulation in the market and headlines being printed, falsely printed, drama like that, where there's not that as much of that drama in the banking world. So that's why if I had to pick one to put all my money in all in on, it would be SoFi. That's why I'm trying to get it to be actually my largest position on this downside right now. Because I think it's a very long-term safe play. I honestly hope one day SoFi turns into like my Warren Buffett Bank of America, where SoFi eventually pays a dividend and we have so many shares acquired over the years and premium that we've collected that we can just reap the benefits of the dividend. But every bank does it. SoFi, I would not be surprised if they had that come out, not right away, but next couple of years. Yeah, I think SoFi is by far the greatest risk reward safety, like mid cap company. They get okay earnings. By the way, guys, this earnings for SoFi is going to be a monster quarter. Okay, you want facts? I don't have them in front of me, but it's going to be a monster quarter. Two earnings ago, SoFi announced that they had 10 tech companies signed up. They weren't recording any revenue from those during 2025. 2026, they were going to start collecting and putting on the books the revenue from those. So far, all these earnings beats have not been with this tech revenue that Noto was talking about. This earnings, we should see what that revenue looks like on the tech side. Unless something changed and he didn't tell us, but as two earnings ago, what he told us was he would start collecting revenue on some tech contracts starting January 2026. Not only that, we still have the S&P 500 inclusion that is going to happen. That's not if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. When? Next quarter after, it's going to, I would assume sometime this year. So you have that catalyst and then institutions pouring in. So you just have a lot of like catalyst and still growing and CEO buying, a lot of things going in the right direction for SoFi. The only thing that's not going in the right direction would be that rate cuts right now are off the table with war going on, inflation uncertainty from the war, right? But once rate cuts are back on the table, SoFi gets to also benefit from that. So a lot of bullishness happening over the next 12 months. JD. Yep, we can look at JD. Not a huge fan of JD. Let's go look at the monthly on this one because I know it's been in a long drawdown. If you haven't bought enough SoFi and you've been in this group, Miguel, with me, I don't know who you've been listening to. I'm gonna look at the weekly, but when the company's been, guys, okay, when a company has been in this long of a drawdown, switch to the higher time frame. Okay, just switch to it because it's clearly taking a long downtrend to break, right? I think they've been in this wedge forever. No, where's the wedge? Is that the wedge everyone's been talking about? The downtrend that it just can't break? It's trying. It's going to at some point, and it has to. And it looks like you're getting pretty close. Clearly, support is at the low 20s. But yeah, I'd be waiting on this monthly to trigger the diamond again. And then it looks like you should be finally to the breakout. So I'd wait for the monthly diamond. That's funny. 18%. Just buy. I think there's a ×2 one, Miguel, you can buy for cheaper. Same thing goes for like that NVO one, guys. Like how it's been in a downtrend for so long. Just like switch to, like here it is, 200 monthly moving average. NVO is currently sitting on. But I'm just waiting for that monthly diamond to get into an NVO play. But as of right now, there is no monthly diamond. So companies that just have a long drawdown period, you can switch to the monthly. I don't trust them, Cynthia, not a chance. Once management and company fraud and stuff like that starts coming up, I just abandon ship. There's too many companies in the world to be hopeful on the ones that have proven like investors wrong. For me, same thing goes with the EOSE, right? When we took that loss on EOSE with the earnings and the like poor communication from management, I just can never trust you again going into earnings. Like you just deceived your retail investors and had the stock drop 50% in one day because you did not communicate with people on X, Y, and Z. I can't trust you every 3 months, basically. So therefore, I'm out. Just can't trust you. So this guy, R&R, he's saying that it's going to 13. He doesn't put time frames or anything, so who knows how long that may be. When was that? That was April 5th. Okay. I know they've had some weird like knockoff stuff, manipulation, people calling them and like rebranding like somebody else's robots or something. I didn't read too much into it. Sorry, reading. The deal came out. CEO. And didn't they say they had like a partnership with somebody and then the partnership was not even true? So they partnered with like Microsoft or something like that. Somebody in here will know what I'm talking about. Unless that was, I don't think that was Serve. I think that was R&R. So I think I removed R&R off of our robotics watch list, and I just have Serve as of right now. Which is getting there. But when this company, yeah, I mean, it's still pretty fresh company for me. It's gonna be pretty tough for a lot of robotics companies to compete without being taken over by all these guys. Tesla went red. What else you guys got? Welcome in, Arsh. ONDS found its way to the red. We have covered calls on ONDS, so that's okay with me. I'm not closing my covered calls on ONDS. Nope. Nothing tells me to be bullish on it right now. Where's my ONDS? There it is. Drone companies are not popping for some reason. Top of the band. Bottom of the band is 5. Bottom of the band, yeah, 6. Top of the band, 13 roughly, but it's trending down. So, could this happen? Sure. But it's the risk to reward, right? You have more downside than you have upside just based on the bands itself. We're doing good. Do you guys have questions on strategy, CSPs, closing them, opening them, anything like that? Boom, boom, boom. Woo. Hey Miguel, next time say the name before it runs. Okay? Thanks. Space is just a hot sector. I see messages, so I'm just waiting for messages to pop up with questions. Cover calls, CSPs. And I believe you, Miguel. I agree. It will get there. They're in my retirement account, so I just constantly set covered calls and CSPs and don't care because I'm not paying taxes on the premium. So I'm just like constantly just doing them. Yeah. I mean, timing the CSPs and closing them early and then opening them back up. Hindsight right now, yes, cool. That would have been a perfect play, but it never hit really our 80% what we like to collect. Oh, Rensing Trades. He just sold some covered calls on Oscar. Hold on, let me see what he did because I might do him. Let's see. $17 covered calls. Dude, I don't know. That's tough. Oscar has earnings and they hit pretty spot on. Yeah, Miguel. But what I was saying was basically hindsight right now, yes, that would have been the right move. But without getting to 80%, I wasn't confident closing my positions early because of the upside potential that can still happen. And I still want to get assigned the shares. So I'd rather just hold them. I either want to get nearly all my premium or hold them to get the shares. Yeah, if I opened it and the following day got to 50%, right, or like within the first 2 days, 3 days of like a 30-day period, sure, 50% is good, right? Like hard to complain. But when I currently have been holding it for, we can pull it up on the spreadsheet here. Okay. So if I've been holding these for 13 days or 30 days, 19 days, 20 days, 13 days, right? I want to be looking to get more of like an 80% return for my time. Not so much looking for what's it called? Not I just don't I made the play for a reason. It was either to own the shares for this price or it was to make all the premium or close to all the premium. And really anything above 80%, most likely, like I said, if you had like a covered call yesterday, like I did, and there was one that you're up 90% on, okay, in the matter of one night's sleep, the whole thing can change, and now your 90% turns into 40%, right? It's not worth the time that's left usually when it's at 80% or higher for the remaining premium. Obviously, if it's 1 day, then it's probably at 98%, right? But just in general, 80% or higher is usually when you can start contemplating taking your wins if you've already held it on for a majority of the time. Okay. Oscar. Let's go. I want to take a look at Oscar. I want to see what he's looking at. 17 for May. That's crazy. I see it at the top of the daily band. I do see that. I see that there's this 200 SMA, which is probably what he's thinking. But Oscar, May 6th. Maybe he's going to close them early. Might have to hit him up and see what he was thinking. Use other communities, guys. Use your peers to ask questions, see what he's seeing. That's what I'm going to ask him. I'll share it with the group. I just asked, what are you seeing for Oscar to set covered calls over earnings period? Yeah, I hold shares. I hold too many shares. What price am I looking for? Well, it's all going to come down to this earnings, I think. Because clearly he gave a huge guidance in revenue. Okay. He just bought $11 million worth of shares with about 30 days until earning. Okay. That is usually a fairly bullish sign. 30 days before earnings, company's undervalued, and he gave a ridiculous guidance last earnings. The guidance of 19 billion in revenue. The market cap right now is 3.75 billion. So I would be looking at a minimum. I would like to hit this resistance level we've hit a couple times. So I would probably say get me close to 20, and I would start setting some more covered calls or selling some shares. I have a lot of shares, so I'm not exactly sure on my full exit strategy. I'll have to play that closer. But last time, guys, we had this downtrend. You can see the white line. Okay. Okay, or the green line now. Okay. You can see we're at here. Get this weekly diamond on this 200 weekly. Okay. And then we bounced from 12 up to the 22. Okay. Now we have the downtrend again. We're breaking the downtrend diamond, and we had the top of the Bollinger Band back at 2021. Okay. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm kind of looking for this move to try to get to this upper half of the band and then start setting some covered calls. Yeah, I think that's going to be what happens. The Iran US travel tolls shared percentage wins or something. Miguel, if you guys don't see it, it says US and Iran looking to join ventures on the tolls through the strait. So I think that is definitely likely. How long is it going to take? Longer if the war continues and shorter if the war ends. I don't know. I don't really play the time game as much, because then I start getting upset that I want it to be faster, and then you start becoming impatient, and instead of just rolling with the punches and figuring out how to play it the best. I don't know. This took from the diamond 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, 2 months. okay, which would put you in June, right? Yeah, June. That's what it took last time. So if history repeats itself, downtrend, green diamond, 200 weekly, 200 weekly, okay? It's not going to maybe get to 22 because it was a little bit higher above the support. So it'll probably get to that 21. I hope we can break through this. I really do. I want it to. If guidance is correct and they hit, are still good for their projections and everything, and government partial shutdown is no longer we're still in a partial government shutdown. It's crazy to me that it's still not a topic talked about. I know most of it's up and running, but if they can go ahead and get that government shutdown finished with an agreement of the ACA extensions, because that's still not finalized either, then Oscar continues to run even more, and then we can finally break this resistance with hitting projections of guidance, him restating the guidance, insider buying, ACA extensions. I think then we can finally break and do what everyone's been talking about, going to 30. Crypto is red. Navitas is taking off. In a good way or bad way? Oh, good way. You can still do them. Just because you do the cover call doesn't mean you have to hold it the whole time, right? You do them and then you get 10% of it. Like I said, guys, you don't have to. Premium on covered calls is just free money if you can keep any of it, right? If you set them and tomorrow you're up 5%, that's 5% of your premium that you wouldn't have had and didn't use any capital to make it, right? So don't get greedy having to collect it all. Be okay collecting a portion of it. It's okay. It's just extra, right? That's the whole game plan. It's extra money. Get paid to do things. Yeah, I figured most things were going for a gap fill this morning. If you guys don't know what gap fills are, what you do is on your chart, get out of the Heikinashi candles, go to the regular candles. If you don't see both of these at the top of your chart, what you do is you go to click that little drop down arrow, okay? And then make sure these are starred. And then they should display both of them up there. Make sure you hit save once you did it. That way it does save your chart. But you can see right here, like Navitas, you have a gap fill. Gap meaning, do you see this gap, right? The top of the candle is right here at 877, and the bottom of the wick on this one is 915. There is a gap where no price action took place. Okay? Typically, stocks like to fill gaps. So you can look for gap fills. The same thing I was saying with the Oscar one. Okay, we broke the downtrend and most likely going to retest the downtrend and fill this gap to 1330 before we go higher to the next level. Maybe that's what the Rinsing Trades guy saw. He's like, okay, there's a gap fill. I'll play a covered call. When that gap fill fills, I will go ahead and close my covered call. So those are gap fills. Yeah, Navitas is a winning company, guys. So we've done well with it. The diamonds keep populating right here on this 200 SMA, and it's been holding it. So yeah, it's been a great one. We've made a lot of money on it. We got a bounce. Nice. Banning, did you get any of your Iren shares? You were talking about it. He filled most of that gap. Nice. There we go. What else are you guys looking at? Oh, nope, 36. I'm here to help. I'm here to teach. Here to do whatever I can for you guys. I'm not know-it-all. I know everything. I'm just trying to help and give you my knowledge, and then you guys can do more with it. Yes, tonight we are doing on X Pretty similar to what this is. It's open conversation, strategy, conversation, stocks. I don't know if I have video sharing available, but maybe. So that'll be on X. That'll be tonight. That'll be 6 o'clock. We're going to start doing that. I think it's going to move to Friday nights, but we're going to do tonight to start. But I think Trevor, who's also in our community and has his community as well, wants to be a part of it. And he wants to do Friday nights as well because that's his only night I think he can do it. So I think Friday nights is going to be the night. But we will start with Wednesday today. I'm reading your sub. It says regular. The income ETFs you mentioned, question mark, the strategy there, you collect the dividends. You just have questions about the income ETF strategy? Okay, guys, I'm going to show you what the compounding looks like when it comes to this income ETF strategy. Okay, so what do you guys think you guys can pull monthly premium wise, like running covered calls and CSPs? What do you think on average you guys could like make based on what you're kind of seeing right now? Do you think you guys can make in premium, 3% a month, 5% a month on your portfolio? What do you guys think? Is it $500? Is it $1,000? Okay. and this is what I'm saying. Oh, Sub left. Well, how did he? Is he back in? He asked a question and then left. Well, I won't. Well, I'll go over it's recording. If he wants to answer, he can look. Okay, so we have the income ETF, guys. Let me pull it up again. Robinhood support reaching out. Okay, so we're on the income ETF. All right, so these are the 10 income ETFs I have in this account. Okay, so for the first month, I was able to generate enough premium to where I took 10% of whatever my premium was. So for March, the premium we generated was 16,000. I took 10% of that, and which is the $1,600. Okay, and I went ahead and put it into the income ETFs. So my goal is to put 10% of whatever premium I collected. Okay, you can do more. You don't have to do 10%. Right now I'm starting with 10% and see what that's like. Maybe I do more because I'm not pulling as much premium as I thought I could manage. But for now, based on what I think I can do, I'm doing 10%. Okay, and oh, I got a text. 10% into this portfolio. If I can do that, okay, I'll show you what that turns into. Okay, I put it into the portfolio. I put what their average yield is, okay, and basically was able to run a projection. So I think I can roughly do $2,000 per month. Okay, I'm currently age 29, and this is the compounding. Okay, 2,000 a month. And again, if you don't want to do just on premium and you want to do whatever your total month gain, right, on your Robinhood app or whatever on your brokerage, you can see, okay, this month in total gain, I closed out $10,000. Whatever your total gain is, maybe you do 10% of that, not the premium stuff, okay? So my goal is just somehow 2,000. Maybe it's from the premium. I'm going to figure it out as we go. But if we can contribute that every month, okay, for me, I'm trying to get to an annual dividend. Okay. Where is it? Dividends. So this is what you got. I got paid out an annual dividend. So in the first year, I'll get about $1,700 paid out in dividends. Okay. And this will be each month. So each month it keeps increasing, right? Okay. We're going to get to 1,700. Okay, let's fast forward to year 5. Year 5 now I'm at 23,000 or 24,000 in annual dividends. This is paid out monthly, 1,700, 17, 18, 19, 2, right? Slowly increasing. Okay, now let's fast forward to year 10. Okay, now we're at $80,000 a year in dividends paid out every year. Now, at this point, 10 years down the road, I don't need to worry about a job monthly. okay? And this is based off of just doing a percentage of what your win is. So if you only, if you win that month, if I don't win in a month, right? I don't have any gains in a month, and I don't, or I lose in a month, whatever, I won't contribute to it. My goal is to just take a percentage of my winnings to a portfolio that pays us monthly. So that way, in case a bear market comes into play or anything, or you're stuck in positions and you just need to hold through whatever noise is going on, we can count on being paid monthly from these, which can either give us more cash to buy individual stocks, or that can give us more cash to just reinvest into these and drip them, or gives us cash to live off of because we need it. Okay, it just allows a portion of my portfolio to be a little bit of a hedge. Not so much, I don't care really about the stock appreciating and growth. It's not going to outpace growth, but I want to be able to make money every month without having to rely that the market is going to cooperate in the right way. And these income ETFs are just running the wheel strategy. These guys are just setting at the money covered calls or at the money CSPs, and they're generating income, and they're paying you out in a dividend instead of paying you out in growth. So it's just running the same strategy that we run, but they're doing it for you. Your annual return is not as much if you are successfully doing it yourself, but this is a portion of my account that I don't have to think about, and it's generating income. So it's just another revenue stream to try to create. As far as what these income ETFs are tracking, okay, let me pull it up real quick. Okay, IYRI is real estate. This is going to track the IWMI. IAUI is gold. Then you have Bitcoin. GPIQ does have growth in it. About 5%, I would say, growth in the share price, and then 10% annual dividend. I would contribute to GPIQ when the QQQ has a drawdown, okay? But the other ones have higher dividend payouts and less growth to them. So I would consistently add to those ones. But when we have those 20% pullbacks, I'm not going to contribute to any of these high yield ones. I'm going to contribute to the one that has a little bit of growth in it and pays a dividend, right? Hopefully that makes sense on why. And I'm going to get to your question. I'm not ignoring it. I see your message. This is going to track the SPY. They're doing covered calls on the SPY. This is the QQQI. They're going to do covered calls on the QQQ. NEHI is Ethereum. MLPI is energy. And then JEPQ is actually doing the QQQ, but the QQQI does covered calls and JEPQ does cash secured puts. So they're doing the opposite side of the wheel strategy to generate, which the cash secured puts helps you more in the bear markets than the covered call side does. But either way, the dividend is still getting paid out. I haven't looked at any Canadian ones, but I mean, I could just ask AI that if there's similar ones to the ones NEOS income ETF funds, CAD versions with little to no NAV erosion. We'll look it up. We'll look it up together. Does that make sense on why I started that portfolio, guys? And I chose those specific ones. They have very little to no NAV erosion, but they are also the most tax efficient to have in a tax account. Let's see here. I'll have to look some up for you. Doesn't look like it gave a really great answer. I'll have to look some up and I can get it back to you and post it in the chats. Hopefully that works for you. I'll do some more digging. But another place you can go to on dividend.watch is another place you can plug it all in. Make sure that you put your dividend growth to 0, just so that way you don't plan on any growth happening. Same thing with the share price, except GPIQ, 5%. and then we can go ahead and adjust this. If you only started from zero, guys, and did $500 a month over the course of 20 years, $500 a month, guys, that's a car payment. That's, you guys have done $500 a month, right? You will get to an annual income of still $65,000 per year just based off of $500 a month, okay? Whether or not that's coming from your wheel strategy, whether or not it's coming from gains, whether or not it's just coming from you and your working job, you can still get to the point where it can cover a base salary to pay you annually without having to actually work or think about it. Okay. And definitely if it's 30 years, I think that 60 turns into 100 or more. What does that turn into? Actually, 60 turns into 200,000 per year. An annual income, $500 a month for 30 years. Okay. With drip on. What else you guys got? Any more questions? We're having lots of fun. I know it might seem, guys, inside of the community that there's not a lot going on right now. Like I said, I have a lot of positions out there that I'm waiting to find out what's going on April 17th. But this is the part where, like I said, the indicators help make investing almost boring because all you have to wait for the signals. And then you can buy, and then you just sit there and wait. Let momentum do its thing. So it can turn investing into a really boring time, but that's the fun part, not to have to think about things and worry about things, right? So keep heads up. If you guys have questions, I can answer any questions, make videos on anything. I like when you guys shoot out questions, and that way I can make a video, and that way everyone else can have an understanding of what's going on. But if you guys have any suggestions on anything we should do or anything to make the community better, I want to hear from you so I can try to incorporate something or see if there's a way or talk to you about it. So I appreciate your guys' support on that. Again, you guys can all get paid for referrals. If you guys don't know that, make sure you ask me how to do it. Unless you guys, I don't know if all of you guys know or not, but I think Harry does. I think Dog does. I think Dave does. I think Cynthia does, but again, she's been out of the game for a while. And Elwa definitely, I believe you know. Any questions? Cynthia, are you still in ASST? Not to put you on blast. Okay. Matter of time. Bitcoin. Just riding that Bitcoin train. I just mentally can't take crypto. I can't do it. Can't do it. Drives me insane. How's the market doing right now before we head off? Still there. I'm curious about his Oscar covered call. I gotta find out. When he tells me, I'll post why. Navitas is running still. It's good. Come on, get closer. Get closer to the top band resistance, and then you can set some covered calls. On the daily, get to here, and then set it based on the weekly or the 30 delta, whatever one is higher strike. So the 13. But wait till you can get closer up here. Any more questions? Are you running any covered calls, Cynthia, or anything? Nope. Got it. That's okay. That's how I've kind of been for the past 2 weeks at least. Just kind of been, it's just been a bunch of chop, not a whole lot to do. Just slowly buy on good support levels and wait for the true rally to begin. Anything right here is just like kind of like helpful little encouragement on what the future could look like when the war actually ends. But I really want to hold for the big move, right? I want to get all these shares and I want to experience the rally that we had last time. Like, I want to experience holding all of this all over again. Okay? This is what I want. So, I'm not too trigger happy on setting covered calls right now for that reason. Because we usually start hitting the stride of April, May, June, July, and August. We hit that little summer stride of good news. Sun shines out. People are having fun, enjoying life. Everyone's optimistic. And that's when, we get to enjoy the ride. So selling things down in these green zones is not really the fun part, right? I want to be selling it when we're getting up here, top half of this band on the weekly. So, alrighty, guys. Cynthia, I appreciate you coming in. I'm glad that you're back in the market. I'm glad you're getting back in, checking in on things. Here for motivation, here for mental health, here for whatever you guys need. Dog, Harry, Elwa, Cynthia, Dave, I appreciate you guys. Gladiator just put a trade out, I think, or he's doing an update. Let me just see what that is. Swing trade. Looks like he already had this one open a minute ago. But you guys can see right here on Gladiator's trades, okay? He opened this one on 4.6 for Microsoft, okay? And he was up like 20% today. And then NOK, he's been in, but now he's up 100%. He's leaving those runners. Let's go take a look at NOK just to see kind of if we had something similar to what he was saying. So September 2025, it has been on a rally since our weekly diamond. That's why I say we don't get a lot of weekly diamonds, guys. So even if the first weekly diamond wasn't the best diamond, or like, well, again, long downtrends, but bullish companies, I wasn't looking at Nokia, first of all, ever. So hard to say, but you don't get very many weekly diamonds on bullish companies. Like I said, previous time, SoFi 1. Maybe here 2, right? Here 2. Okay? This is IPO date. Don't trust it. But just as saying, like 1, okay? 1 more, and then upside. 2, upside. 1, upside. Okay? You don't typically get too many weekly diamonds before the rocket kind of starts. So definitely, I would say, like I said, I treat the strategy as daily time frame, okay? Green diamonds above our bull bear line is 25%. So if I have $10,000 to put into SoFi when it was above the blue line, right, our bull bear line on the daily time frame, the green diamonds is 25%. So if I was going to buy 10 grand worth, I would buy $2,500 worth on that green diamond. Now, if it's below the bull bear line and we're looking at the weekly diamonds, I am doing 50% of my designated cash to SoFi. So if I had 10 grand still left to apply to SoFi to finish out my position on the weekly diamond, I would do 5 grand. Okay. It's 50%. So whatever total amount you're going to allocate to a company, okay, I treat weeklies as ×2 multipliers. 25% on green diamonds, and then yellow diamonds, I do 10%. If it's a weekly one, right, ×2, that'd be a 20% diamond for the remaining cash I have left to buy. Does that make sense? On how I kind of determine the amount that I'm buying, cash-wise, percentage-wise. Awesome. That allows you to basically never run out of cash to finish out your position. Because if you did 50%, right, and now you have 5 grand left, and then you got another weekly diamond, okay, well, now you have 5 grand, and then you do 50% of that 5 grand, so now you did $2,500 worth of buying. And now you still have 2,500, right? So it's never going to basically ever get to zero. You're going to be able to constantly buy down, but you're going to slowly, right, lose money to buy down. Eventually you'll get pretty slim, but again, weekly diamonds you're only going to get on bullish, true bullish companies with good outlook, like a SoFi, like a Robinhood, like an ASTS, right? Any of these that are like bullish long term companies hitting their right strides, everything's going right for them, right? Is you're only going to get one, maybe two weekly diamonds to even buy at these cheap levels. So take advantage of it. So you don't need to, you know, be worrying about it. Can it take time? Yeah, it's a weekly diamond. Things take time. Right? Navitas. Again, IPO dates. I hate IPOs. This IPO'd in 21, 3 years later. So we're looking at basically somewhere in 2024 is when we would be open to trading a company like this. Again, you're not going to get too many opportunities. 1, 2, pop, 1, pop. Still get 1, 2. You still get a good run up, right? So you don't get too many opportunities on weeklies, so take advantage to make sure you buy some. You might get another opportunity to buy one more, but I'm not going to risk the chance of getting 2 diamonds. I'm just going to go ahead and go with the 1. So I can talk for days. I'm going to be talking later tonight with you guys, 8 o'clock on X. We're going to see how that goes. I'm trying to just open it up to other people and answer questions, what they need, and let them know that we have free access inside of our Discord to join our chat rooms. And if they want to upgrade, again, you guys can get paid for referrals. If you guys have more questions about that, just message me and I can help you out with that. Alrighty. If you guys have questions about other positions you guys currently have, please let me know. Happy to help. If you guys need guidance or anything as far as running the strategy, running premiums, collecting premiums, I'm here for that. Whatever you guys need, let me know. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys later. Thanks.